My name is Kenny, and I read because this reading is one of the many essential steps in bringing awareness to mass atrocities in the world, both in the past and present. I remember Bajramovic Azem, Bosnian genocide. I remember Senyenzi Charles, Rwandan genocide. I remember Mohammed Abalik, Syrian civil war. I remember Adam Dobrin, Holocaust. I remember Lej Goldberg, the Holocaust. I remember Kadabasi, Rwandan genocide. I remember Mikhail Goldschmidt, the Holocaust. I remember Milenkovic Stanko, Kosovo War. I remember Shmuel Schmelzer, the Holocaust. I remember Gakara Elias, Rwandan genocide. I remember Manar al-Tawil, the Syrian civil war. I remember Susanna Flora Grimberg, the Argentine Dirty War. I remember Sagamon Vazkirichian, the Armenian genocide. I remember Femi Pakarizi, the Kosovo War. I remember Dimik Milovan, the Kosovo War. I remember Yentl Cohn, the Holocaust. I remember Victor Philippe Egloff, the Argentine Dirty War. I remember Israel Boxenbaum, the Holocaust. I remember Jose Manuel Dieguez, the Argentine Dirty War. I remember Kazubwenge, the Rwandan genocide. I remember Siv Sithan, the Cambodian genocide. I remember Mustafik Ibrahim, Bosnian genocide. I remember Basya Borovikov, the Holocaust. I remember Mao Chico, the East Timor genocide. I remember Leib Ugoretz, the Holocaust. I remember Jakov Horowitz, the Holocaust. I remember Batya Finkelstein, the Holocaust. I remember Klauk Lee Nan, Cambodian genocide. I remember Tatul Andonian, the Armenian genocide. I remember Faga Setcher, the Holocaust. I remember Tagohika, the Rwandan genocide. I remember Yevgenia Sherman, the Holocaust. I remember Jack Gokes, the Holocaust. I remember Theon Cambodian genocide. I remember Majok Akol Aguek, the South Sudan Civil War. I remember Jashari Musli, the Kosovo War. I remember Stefanos Sendalagian, the Armenian genocide. I remember Celine Dinsdog, the Holocaust. I remember Hazanovic Meho, the Bosnian genocide. I remember Suhila Qassam, the Syrian Civil War. I remember Murenzi Kaberuka, the Rwandan genocide. I remember Milanko Savic, the Kosovo War. I remember Sion der Theodorosian, the Armenian genocide. I remember Kardakovic Aldzad, the Bosnian genocide. I remember Tanya Berkovich, the Holocaust. I remember Baruch Britzman, the Holocaust. I remember Ayman Deeb Shahadeh, the Syrian Civil War. I remember Ayman Abdelkarim Ez El-Din, the Syrian Civil War. I remember Mehmet Saliokaj, the Kosovo War. I remember Sarum Me Karinda, the Rwandan genocide. I remember Karik Almir, the Bosnian genocide. I remember Khalil Mahmoud Qassami, the Syrian Civil War. I remember Walid al-Ali, the Syrian Civil War. I remember Rosa Krischauer, the Holocaust. I remember Karimera Vichur, the Rwandan genocide. I remember Hussein Ali Mahfouz al-Rifai, the Syrian Civil War. I remember Lynette Cohen, the Holocaust. I remember Graziella Bonaparte, the East Timor genocide. I remember Bolek Mink, the Holocaust. I remember Daniel Chertok, the Holocaust. I remember Amit Miraj, the Kosovo War. I remember Sam Faili, the Cambodian genocide. I remember Bayan Saeed al-Isa, the Syrian Civil War. I remember David Earlman, the Holocaust. I remember Pepe Spiegel, the Holocaust. I remember Damaj Kibwa, the Rwandan genocide. I remember Musia Bass, the Holocaust. I remember Isa Blumenfeld, the Holocaust. I remember Elba Nidia Vidala, the Argentine Dirty War. I remember Ricardo Anibal Corelli, the Argentine Dirty War. I remember Mujanovic Hasib, the Bosnian Genocide. I remember Hari Rybak, the Holocaust. I remember Albino Obak Palak, South Sudan Civil War. I remember Kiud Zadorian, the Armenian Genocide. I remember Sahit Popaj, the Kosovo War. I remember Benno Hirschfeld, the Holocaust. I remember Stanica Vulic, the Kosovo War. I remember Khalid al-Zain, the Syrian Civil War. I remember Dusabermeremi Calixte, the Rwandan Genocide. I remember Mostafa Ghassan Khatib, the Syrian Civil War. I remember Perla Shrulovich, the Holocaust. I remember Mukama Jean Claude, the Rwandan Genocide. I remember Lieb Herkberg, the Holocaust. I remember Mohammed Fathi Tello, the Syrian Civil War. I remember Romek Ordzech, the Holocaust. I remember Jakob Ustin von, the Holocaust. I remember Mohammed Hana Kadaro, the Syrian Civil War. I remember Great Bolagraf, the Holocaust. I remember Nyiraburo Annunziata, the Rwandan Genocide. I remember Osama Tamer Kolkau, the Syrian Civil War. I remember Lyusia Aronova, the Holocaust. I remember Hatice Mustafa, the Kosovo War. I remember Aldo Procaxia, the Holocaust. I remember Ayman al-Haut, the Syrian Civil War. I remember Hamza al-Ken, the Syrian Civil War. I remember Osmanovac Sefik, the Bosnian Genocide. I remember Hajdarevic Elijah, the Bosnian Genocide. I remember Rutagengwa Jonath, the Rwandan Genocide. I remember Yasmin Abdul Azem Hakemi, the Syrian Civil War. I remember Hadzik Mehmed, the Bosnian Genocide. I remember Ephraim Zavatsky, the Holocaust. I remember Miriam Eckstein, the Holocaust. I remember Hussein Othman al-Sharta, the Syrian Civil War.
I remember Hasanovich Mehmedalija perished in the Bosnian genocide at the age of 44. Mirta Edith Trachtenberg perished in the Argentine Dirty War. Kamali Eves perished in the Rwandan genocide at the age of 4. I remember Korin Dereklian perished in the Armenian genocide. I remember Karakin Savayan perished in the Armenian genocide. I remember Mahmoud Abdulhamid al-Nahar al-Muhammad perished in the Syrian Civil War in 2014. I remember Maj Hani Arabi perished in the Syrian Civil War in 2012. I remember Shaban Morina perished in the Kosovo War at the age of 59. I remember Genia Jeline perished in the Holocaust at the age of 10. I remember Abdul Aziz Khalid Shbaki perished in the Syrian Civil War in 2012. I remember Cyrile Cherson perished in the Holocaust at the age of 8. I remember Sigmund Marx perished in the Holocaust at the age of 54. I remember Hedwig Donath perished in the Holocaust at the age of 51. I remember Isaac Arav perished in the Holocaust. I remember Nazir Sheikh Salem perished in the Syrian Civil War in 2012. I remember Margot Josephi perished in the Holocaust at the age of 25. I remember Gisela Pauline perished in the Holocaust at the age of 50. I remember Arsenije Brindich perished in the Kosovo War at the age of 53. I remember Karakezi File perished in the Rwandan genocide at the age of 2. I remember Bang Duap Lam perished in the South Sudan Civil War. I remember Mohammed Diban al-Ahmad perished in the Syrian Civil War in 2011. I remember Karich Sabrija perished in the Bosnian genocide at the age of 33. I remember Chana Grunberger perished in the Holocaust at the age of 51. I remember Jorka Descu perished in the Kosovo War at the age of 20. I remember Roselle Goldschmidt perished in the Holocaust at the age of 54. I remember Muhammad Ismail Saif perished in the Syrian Civil War in 2012. I remember Nyadhiro Ivan perished in the Rwandan genocide in 1994. I remember Muhanaded Muhammad Ghazi Kwabani perished in the Syrian Civil War in 2012. I remember Michael Der Adzvadzadurian perished in the Armenian genocide. I remember Muka Musoni perished in the Rwandan genocide in 1994. I remember Najib Van Thin perished in the Holocaust at age of 24. I remember Naisrite Elmazi perished in the Kosovo War at the age of 51. I remember Damjani Muharrem perished in the Kosovo War. I remember Karin Ganire Raphael perished in the Rwandan genocide in 1994. I remember Masha Gurevich perished in the Holocaust at the age of 23.
I remember Maita Adair perished in the Shoah. I remember Simcha Melech Adair perished in the Shoah. I remember Chaim Adair perished in the Shoah. I remember Nisim Eskenazi perished in the Shoah. I remember Josephina Eskenazi perished in the Shoah. I remember Yosef Finkuchen perished in the Shoah. I remember Anna Fagenbaum perished in the Shoah. I remember Marcus Feinig Felter perished in the Shoah. I remember Matish Fingerit perished in the Shoah. I remember Zelig Fogel perished in the Shoah. I remember Heinz Joachim Frank perished in the Shoah. I remember Carlotta Freund perished in the Shoah. I remember Noel Friedham perished in the Shoah. I remember Rosa Fuchs perished in the Shoah. I remember Joseph Fuchs perished in the Shoah. I remember Stanislav Galinsky perished in the Shoah. I remember Felix Gavel perished in the Shoah. I remember Chaim Glaser perished in the Shoah. I remember Gabriela Brigitta Gobetz perished in the Shoah. I remember Felicitas Frumate Golum perished in the Shoah. I remember Sigmund Grushka perished in the Shoah. I remember Wulf Grunblatt perished in the Shoah. I remember Eliyahu Bikor Habibi Habif perished in the Shoah. I remember Edgard Herrera perished in the Shoah. I remember Elvira Heifenheimer perished in the Shoah. I remember Max Hoffman perished in the Shoah. I remember Alfred Holstein perished in the Shoah. I remember Irina Horschitz perished in the Shoah. I remember Georg Horstein perished in the Shoah. I remember Irina de Horschitz perished in the Shoah. I remember Noemi Huayim perished in the Shoah. I remember Jan Hrunshuk perished in the Shoah. I remember Solomon Ikovich perished in the Shoah. I remember Yitzhak Yisrael perished in the Shoah. I remember Shlomo Itzkovich perished in the Shoah. I remember Alphonse Yasuvich perished in the Shoah. I remember Moses Yunaski perished in the Shoah. I remember Utoshki Yelsky perished in the Shoah. I remember Maximilian Yushuk perished in the Shoah. I remember Moses Kitolman perished in the Shoah. I remember Nachum Kaufman perished in the Shoah. I remember Bernard Kaufman perished in the Shoah. I remember Yaakov Keller perished in the Shoah. I remember Yahushua Kesuman perished in the Shoah. I remember Rivka Chidera perished in the Shoah. I remember Jan Kieselvich perished in the Shoah. I remember Stanislav Kordas perished in the Shoah. I remember Isaac Kojak perished in the Shoah. Today, I remember my brother, Ike Henderson Parkey IV, who died at the age of 29 in 1988 from HIV. I read in his memory and the memory of many friends and others we lost due to inaction and stigma during the early days of the AIDS crisis in the 1980s and 90s. I also read in memory of all the lives we continue to lose daily, both to AIDS and ongoing atrocities around the world. Richard Reed, Simon Guzman, Marvin Feldman, Reggie Hightower, Gary Johnson, Chris Olds, James Martin Case, Dr. Kirk Seaton, Randy Partlow, Paul Walker, Bill Cartwright, Dr. Ron Schwert, John Selby, Harvey George, Paul Matthew Rodenkirk, John Mulhern, Reverend Carl Bivens, John Riddler, Pastor Cal Denny, Bobby Campbell, Bruce Harris, Randy Pike, Joe Schmall, Bill Kraus, Gary Walsh, David Calgaro, Robert Michael Flannery, John Sims, Alan Estes, Bill Schultz, Morgan Ellis, Dennis Oglesby, Jose Ramirez, Nick Paris, Marvin Feldman, Jonathan Halpern, Scott Oatman, Larry Long, Frank Cook, James McClure, Bill Stevens, Roger Lyon, Michael DeSantis, Raymond Case, Bruce Allen Rudolph, Hal Riley, Dennis Dunbar, Chris Woolley, David Castro, Roger McCoy, Greg Smith, Billy Allen, Bill Hartman, John Ferreira, James Mincy, Dan Allen, Michael Talbot, Phil Harrington, Jan Johnson, Manny Robinson, Al Rosen, Dr. Tom Waddell, Robert W. Ellis, Clayton Berry, David Bailey, Bob Sewer, Paul Neeson, Richard Ramirez, Herb Crabtree, Carl Whitman, Michael Zook, Herman McNeil, Robert B. Cunningham, Joey Coleman, Marvin Feldman, Mark Thompson, Dennis Bittner, Rick Cochran, Bo Stenson, Rodney Sellers, Bill Kramer, Walter Applebaum, David Emmons, Paul Wheeler, Jesse Leone, John Russo, Rick Shea, Ron Cohen, Steve Schmitz, Keith Wilson, Paul Hubble, Livingston Russell.
Siljakovic Bulchkan perished in the Bosnian genocide in 1995. Ardian Kirkezi perished in the Kosovo War at the age of 19. Mukamfizi Asteri perished in the Rwandan genocide in 1994. Eli Sarna perished in the Holocaust at the age of 8. Che Phai Moni perished in the Cambodian genocide. Karapet Aydinian perished in the Armenian genocide. Noor al-Abdullah perished in the Syrian civil war in 2013. Nagugura Matthias perished in the Rwandan genocide at the age of 35. Alik Berem perished in the Bosnian genocide at the age of 53. Ahmed Ali al-Mufti perished in the Syrian civil war in 2014. Feredin Villasaliu perished in the Kosovo War at the age of 23. Miklos Gruenwald perished in the Holocaust at the age of 7. Vesel Kakoli perished in the Kosovo War in 1999. Isabella Stokvish perished in the Holocaust at the age of 37. Abdulhafiz Guaish perished in the Syrian war in 2012. Fadi Ahmed al-Muhammad perished in the Syrian civil war in 2014. Rangira perished in the Rwandan genocide at the age of 39. Mikhail Der Azvadazdorian perished in the Armenian genocide. Fremeta Klenuiska perished in the Holocaust at the age of 2. Yusra Muhammad Kara perished in the Syrian civil war in 2011. Ruben Hakimyan perished in the Armenian genocide. Aaron Reinman perished in the Holocaust. Ahmed Ali Zahra perished in the Syrian civil war in 2012. Albino Alwak Godiying perished in the South Sudan civil war. Mamoun Mohammed Darwish perished in the Syrian civil war in 2014. Petit Kagarama Eugene perished in the Rwandan genocide in 1994. Gatera perished in the Rwandan genocide in 1994. Israel Rotfleisch perished in the Holocaust at the age of 59. Haliti Ali perished in the Kosovo War. Werner Hirschwald perished in the Holocaust at the age of 47. Sefer Jamalajal perished in the Kosovo War at the age of 82. Mahmoud Akram Alam perished in the Syrian civil war in 2013. Muhammad Kadriou perished in the Kosovo War at the age of 56. Maria Luz Mujica perished in the Argentine Dirty War. Zakur Hamadeh perished in the Syrian civil war in 2014. Nejmedin Mujla perished in the Kosovo War at the age of 61. Niajema Tapke perished in the South Sudan Civil War. Avedis Baluin perished in the Armenian Genocide. Duvid Kapnik perished in the Holocaust at the age of 4. Zoran Stanojevic perished in the Kosovo War at the age of 17. Guta Gorodetsky perished in the Holocaust at the age of 60. Emile Rousseau perished in the Holocaust at the age of 5. Hassan Mohammed Rahmeh perished in the Syrian Civil War in 2014. Sonia Parser perished in the Holocaust. Aaron Shuwicki perished in the Holocaust at the age of 8. Beto Noringa perished in the Holocaust at the age of 19. Halit Hetemi perished in the Kosovo War at the age of 62. Gatorano Consolei perished in the Rwandan genocide at the age of 34. Akram al-Tawel Haidar perished in the Syrian Civil War in 2014. Bertha Koster perished in the Holocaust at the age of 60. Bobby Shpetim perished in the Kosovo War. Rugambage Placide perished in the Rwandan genocide at the age of 43. Ramadan Sopi perished in the Kosovo War at the age of 29. Kanyamibwa Ephraim perished in the Rwandan genocide at the age of 52. Bakir Dobra perished in the Kosovo War at the age of 53. Elias Schlossberg perished in the Holocaust at the age of 64. Ruben Hajatian perished in the Armenian genocide. Mamoun Freg al-Hassan perished in the Syrian Civil War in 2012. Mesik Safet perished in the Bosnian genocide at the age of 34. Ricardo Sabin perished in the Argentine Dirty War. Omik Alaga perished in the Bosnian genocide at the age of 42. Alik Fahrudin perished in the Bosnian genocide at the age of 22. Brano Rhinus perished in the Holocaust at the age of 29. Ayman Abdullah al-Halabi perished in the Syrian Civil War in 2012. Kayitsinga Cassius perished in the Rwandan genocide in 1994. Farit Reshepi perished in the Kosovo War at the age of 39. Ruterana Vincent perished in the Rwandan genocide in 1994. Maria Cristina Rolle perished in the Argentine Dirty War. Yamen Salama al-Muhammad perished in the Syrian Civil War in 2013. Vejik Mustafa perished in the Bosnian genocide at the age of 36. Herschel Zjenberg perished in the Holocaust. Pasalik Sajto perished in the Bosnian genocide at the age of 55. Anai Gielnai perished in the South Sudan Civil War. Mustafa Abdul Hakim Bakar perished in the Syrian Civil War in 2013. Carlos Alberto Almada Villalba perished in the Argentine Dirty War. Mustafik Meho perished in the Bosnian genocide at the age of 43. Ibrahim Ali al-Manjera perished in the Syrian Civil War in 2013. Bajraktarevic Kazim perished in the Bosnian genocide at the age of 36. Kapkuzik Ismet perished in the Bosnian genocide at the age of 23. Fatima Berisha perished in the Kosovo War at the age of 49. Gamela Filibosian perished in the Armenian genocide. Muzayire Marie Chantal, perished in the Rwandan genocide in 1994. Zuzana Lowy, perished in the Holocaust at the age of 9. Shana Wunderman, perished in the Holocaust at the age of 36.
My name is Layla Edelman, and I read because everybody deserves to be remembered. I remember Yannick Cohn, the Holocaust. I remember Moshe Pollack, the Holocaust. I remember Mendel Cohn, the Holocaust. I remember Benzion Abramovich, the Holocaust. I remember Sarah Abramson, the Holocaust. I remember Penina Adler, the Holocaust. I remember Fega Adam, the Holocaust. I remember Rika Auerbach, the Holocaust. I remember Shabtai Augustowski, the Holocaust. I remember Hajim Arobwansky, the Holocaust. I remember Bernard Altman, the Holocaust. I remember Menachem Amsterdamski, the Holocaust. I remember Isaac Angel, the Holocaust. I remember Chaim Anderman, the Holocaust. I remember Sendel Applebaum, the Holocaust. I remember A.T. Askelrod, the Holocaust. I remember Berta Lubliner, the Holocaust. I remember Naftali Meir, the Holocaust. I remember Stefania Pollack, the Holocaust. I remember Marisha Pekowski, the Holocaust. I remember Yenta Peist, the Holocaust. I remember Haya Steinlauf, the Holocaust. I remember Hava Sterenberg, the Holocaust. I remember Jacob Goldman, the Holocaust. I remember Basia Deitch, the Holocaust. Excuse me. I remember Ben Zion Kahan, the Holocaust. I remember Joseph Lilienbaum, the Holocaust. I remember Miriam Lieber, the Holocaust. I remember Helena Veit, the Holocaust. I remember Yakov Portnoy, the Holocaust. I remember Moshe Rosenblum, the Holocaust. I remember Beryl Reitman, the Holocaust. I remember Alexander Farber, the Holocaust. I remember Irina Boritz, the Holocaust. I remember Helena Gall, the Holocaust. I remember Giel Eicherman, the Holocaust. I remember Jacob Newberg, the Holocaust. I remember Clara Adler, the Holocaust. I remember Herman Einstein, the Holocaust. I remember Olga Grossman, the Holocaust. I remember Israel Rabinovich, the Holocaust. I remember Ernst Bessenger, the Holocaust. I remember David Dodick, the Holocaust. I remember Grigory Fogel, the Holocaust. I remember Nekama Berezin, the Holocaust. I remember Meta Frischauer, the Holocaust. I remember Ella Jacobson, the Holocaust. I remember Walter Jacobson, the Holocaust. I remember Albert Katzenstein, the Holocaust. I remember Jenny Katzenstein, the Holocaust. I remember Moishe Postelov, the Holocaust. I remember Josephine Weiss, the Holocaust. I remember Ava Sizekali, the Holocaust. I remember Avram Rosman, the Holocaust. I remember Hans Meyer, the Holocaust. I remember Lieb Feekman, the Holocaust. I remember Dobrich Bagel, the Holocaust. I remember Guta Yurovsky, the Holocaust. I remember Morris Steinberg, the Holocaust.
I remember Ibrakovic Azmir, Bosnian genocide. Zuik Valega, Bosnian genocide. Seren Schlochwald, Holocaust. Bento Santos, East Timor genocide. Hamit Zogaj, Kosovo War. Hassan Ali al-Halki, Syrian Civil War. Kambwa, Rwandan genocide. Gachua Rail Khat, South Sudan Civil War. Lachor Bail Jal, South Sudan Civil War. Ramez Mohammed al-Abbos, Syrian Civil War. Florian Kurti, Kosovo War. Ibrahim Yaqub Kintar, Syrian Civil War. Hector Castro, Argentine Dirty War. Kajekua Jean, Rwandan genocide. Rahel Janowski, Holocaust. Nur al-Huda Abdullah Khashoggi, Syrian Civil War. Joseph Grossman, Holocaust. Mikimbiri Yves, Rwandan genocide. Zina Ayaman Kassa, Syrian Civil War. Dudun Manu, Holocaust. Compret Levit, Holocaust. Leonor Genova Piero, Argentine Dirty War. Abd al-Rahman Mohammed Khalid al-Jamos, Syrian Civil War. Vicentine Gomez, Argentine Dirty War. Nomanovic Juso, Bosnian genocide. Zeka Emin, Kosovo War. Nachman Frajman, Holocaust. Teube Shekhnir, Holocaust. Lulzim Hajada, Kosovo War. Ebolia Ovitis, Holocaust. Petros Haronian, Armenian genocide. Leo Lax, Holocaust. Allah Musaf Muhammad Ali, Syrian Civil War. Gisela Fischer, Holocaust. Gasupe Batino, Holocaust. Ahmad al-Shami, Syrian Civil War. Milovan Rajovic, Kosovo War. Hensi Ratanen, Holocaust. Sarah Kleiman, Holocaust. Gauri Goldstein, Holocaust. Bektik Desvad, Bosnian genocide. Kedali Hazenfratz, Holocaust. Koptic Dezvad, Bosnian genocide. Odelia Araujo, East Timor genocide. Jajiri Prendi, Kosovo War.
I'm Larry Margulies Malin, and I'm reading in remembrance of victims of the Holocaust. I remember Benzian Abramowitz, Holocaust. I remember Sarah Abramson, Holocaust. I remember Benina Adler, the Holocaust. I remember Feiga Adam, Holocaust. I remember Rika Auerbach, the Holocaust. I remember Shabtai Agostovsky, the Holocaust. I remember Chaim Avrablonsky, the Holocaust. I remember Bernhard Altmann, the Holocaust. I remember Menachem Amsterdamski, the Holocaust. I remember Isaac Angel, Holocaust. I remember Chaim Anderman, Holocaust. I remember Zendel Appelbaum, Holocaust. I remember Itai Axelrod, the Holocaust. I remember Berta Lubliner, the Holocaust. I remember Naftali Meir, the Holocaust. I remember Stefania Polak, the Holocaust. I remember Marysia Pikovsky, the Holocaust. I remember Jenta Peist, Holocaust. I remember Chaya Steinlauf, Holocaust. I remember Hava Sterenberg, the Holocaust. I remember Jakob Goldman, Holocaust. I remember Elizabeth DeHaas, the Holocaust. I remember Baisia Deich, Holocaust. I remember Ben Zion Kahan, the Holocaust. I remember Joseph Lilienbaum, Holocaust. I remember Miriam Leiber, Holocaust. I remember Helena Veit, Holocaust. I remember Yakov Portnoy, Holocaust. I remember Moishe Rosenblum, the Holocaust. I remember Beryl Reitman, the Holocaust. I remember Alexander Farber, the Holocaust. I remember Irena Boritz, Holocaust. I remember Helena Gall, Holocaust. I remember Jill Ackerman, Holocaust. I remember Jakob Neuberg, Holocaust. I remember Clara Adler, the Holocaust. I remember Hermann Einstein, Holocaust. And I remember Olga Grossman, the Holocaust. I remember Israel Rabinovich, Holocaust. I remember Erz Bessinger, Holocaust. I remember David Dodik, the Holocaust. I remember Grigory Fogel, the Holocaust. I remember Nekama Berezin, the Holocaust. I remember Valentina Klumpas, the Holocaust. I remember Meta Frischauer, Holocaust. I remember Ella Jacobson, the Holocaust. I remember Walter Jacobson, Holocaust. I remember Albert Kazenstein, the Holocaust. I remember Jenny Kazenstein, Holocaust. I remember Moishe Postolov, the Holocaust. I remember Josephine Weiss, the Holocaust. I remember Eva Sekeli, the Holocaust. I remember Avram Rosman, the Holocaust. I remember Hans Meyer, Holocaust. I remember Leib Fickmann, Holocaust. I remember Dobrich Beigel, Holocaust. I remember Guta Jurovsky, Holocaust. I remember Morris Steinberg, the Holocaust.
First, I want to acknowledge the Mineta family, many of whom were victims in the Holocaust. My name is Larry Mineta. I'm a retired Vice President for Student Affairs at Duke University, and I'm honored to read names for this commemoration of genocides, and in my family's case in particular, the Shoah. So here goes. Rayez, first name unknown, from Lvov, Poland. Rayez Rochmy from Poland. Rayez Yarneshtina from Lvov, Poland. Rebecca Razik from Mako Mazowski, Poland. Udel Razik from Klek area, Poland. Dora Razik from the Klek area of Poland. Zelik Razik from the Klek area of Poland. Gersh Rezilbur from Brest, Poland. Rivka Rezieber from Brest, Poland. Gersh Rezieber from Brest, Poland. Izia Rezin from Poland. Ovsejus Rezivskis from Wilno, Poland. Josef Reisler from Bolachau, Poland. Moshe Reisler from Bolachau, Poland. Borek Reisler from Dolina, Poland. Gaman Reisler from Dolina, Poland. Rachala Reisler from Dolina, Poland. David Reisman from an undeciphered place in Poland. Gechka Reisman from Kremenz, Poland. Maya Reisman from Tomaszów Lubliński, Poland. Itzko Reisman from Lubomi, Poland. Lisa Reisenbaum from Pinsk, Poland. Good afternoon. My name is Larry Mineta. I'm the retired Vice President for Student Affairs at Duke University, and I'm honored to read names for the memorial to genocides. And in my case, my family are all victims of the Shoah, the Holocaust. So I begin by honoring the Mineta family and the Goldberg families, the Kirsch family, the Olstein family, all my relatives, dozens of whom were lost in the Holocaust. And with that, Sunhala Loya, Beatriki Loya, Menachem Loya, Maina Loido, Sofia Loyevskaska, Olga Loyevskaska, Lena Loyevskaska. These are all from Poland. Maya Loyevskaska, Sayoma Loyevsky, Lev Soyevsky, Sema Loyevsky, Rachel Leufer, Zhenya Leufer, Aaron Leufer, Genya Leufer, Kaskel Leuferd, Toiba Leuferd, Rachel Leuferd, Ruchlia Leuferd, Leon Leufman, Golda Leufman, Zenya Leufman, Israel Leufman, Ghana Leufman, Shana Lochtyan, Mordechai Loin, Shmuel Loinsan, Itzko Loyan, Toblayaz Lois, first name unknown, Leuter, Metzia Leuter, Gitlia Leuter, Menya Leuter, Rosa Leuter, Bronislava Leutzker, Zachar Leutzker, Azer Loizerovich, Yitzchak Tzvi Loizerovich, Alter Lozierovich, Avraham Lozierovich, Kana Lozierovich, Natan Aron Loz, Kana Loz, Frida Loz, Rivka Loz, Hinach Losh, Bruchach Losh, Zella Losh, Shmuel Loskovich, Aryeh Loskovich, Reuven Loskovich, Mendel Loskovich, Chenocha Loskiovich,